Rain lashed Chicago streets as Tom Harper pedaled through the evening gloom, the quick slice pizza sign on his backpack flickering under streetlights. The weight of a long shift pressed on his shoulders, but his sharp eyes caught a flicker of movement in an alley off Dearborn Street. A black van idled, its side door open, and a masked figure dragged a small boy, Liam Carter, no older than 8, toward it. The child screamed, slicing through the storm. Tom's pizza box hit the wet pavement, forgotten as instinct took over. His lanky frame moved with a precision that betrayed his deliverman guise, closing the distance in seconds. The kidnapper, broad and menacing, wielded a knife, but Tom's hands were faster, disarming him with a fluid twist and a sharp strike to the temple. The man crumpled, and Liam, trembling, clung to Tom's leg, his tear-streaked face pale under the alley's dim glow. Tom knelt, his worn leather jacket creaking, and met the boy's wide eyes. "You're safe now, buddy," he said, voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. Liam's small hands gripped Tom's sleeve, as if afraid to let go, and Tom felt a pang of memory of another child, another life, buried deep. Sirens wailed in the distance, and Tom glanced at the unconscious kidnapper, noting the man's cheap tactical gear and a faint accent in his earlier grunt Eastern European. "Maybe." The police arrived, flashlights cutting through the rain, and an officer approached, eyeing Tom's soaked uniform and the boy still clutching him. "You the delivery guy?" the officer asked, skeptical. Tom nodded, brushing off the question, but his gaze lingered on Liam, who whispered, "You're like a superhero." The words hit harder than Tom expected, stirring a grief he'd spent years suppressing. At the station, Liam's mother, Claire Thornton, arrived, her tailored coat out of place in the gritty precinct. She rushed to Liam, pulling him into a fierce embrace, but her sharp eyes locked onto Tom, assessing. "Thank you," she said, voice tight with emotion, yet laced with suspicion. Tom shrugged, his calloused hands stuffed into his pockets, hiding a faded tattoo on his wrist. "Just doing what anyone would," he said, but Claire's gaze lingered, catching the way his eyes scanned the room alert, practiced, not the look of a civilian. Liam, still holding his mother's hand, looked up at Tom with unabashed admiration, his small voice breaking the tension. "Can you stay? Please?" Tom's heart twisted, the boy's plea echoing another's from years ago, one he couldn't save. He ruffled Liam's hair gently, avoiding Claire's piercing stare. "Gotta get back to my deliveries, kid," he said, but the lie felt hollow. As he stepped into the rain, leaving the station behind, Tom felt the weight of Claire's scrutiny and Liam's trust, pulling him back toward a past he'd tried to outrun. The alley, the boy, the fight. It wasn't random, and deep down, Tom knew this was only the beginning. The fluorescent lights of Chicago's downtown precinct buzzed overhead as Claire Thornton sat rigid in the interview room, her tailored navy coat a stark contrast to the scuffed linoleum floor. Her manicured fingers tapped the metal table, betraying the anxiety she fought to conceal as CEO of Thornton Dynamics, a titan in eye defense tech. Detective Martinez, a stocky man with a weathered notepad, leaned forward, his tone calm but firm. "Your son Liam is safe, Miss Thornton. The kidnapper's in custody, and we're just waiting on the delivery guy's statement." Claire's hazel eyes narrowed, her voice cooled despite the knot in her chest. "You're sure this Tom Harper isn't involved? A pizza guy stopping a kidnapping feels too convenient." Martinez flipped through his notes. "We checked. Harper's been with Quick Slice Pizza for 9 months. Clean record. Coworkers confirm. He's reliable." Claire's lips pressed thin. She'd navigated enough corporate espionage to know coincidences were rarely innocent. Her gaze flicked to the two-way mirror, wondering if Tom was behind it, watching. The door opened, and Tom entered, his lanky frame filling the space, still in his damp pizza uniform under a worn leather jacket. A fresh bruise bloomed above his eyebrow, but his eyes sharp, scanning the room with a soldier's instinct unsettled. Hermost, Liam, seated with a social worker, broke free and ran to Tom, not Claire, wrapping his arms around him. "You were so cool, like in my video games." The boy beamed, his hero worship palpable. Tom's awkward pat on Liam's shoulder contrasted with the lethal precision Claire had glimpsed in Martinez's body cam footage. "Hey, buddy, your mom's right there," Tom said, his voice low, deliberate, like someone used to giving orders, not pizzas. Claire stood, smoothing her coat, her CEO armor in place. "Liam, come here," she said, her tone sharp enough to silence boardrooms. Liam obeyed reluctantly, glancing back at Tom with starry eyes. Claire extended a hand to Tom, her gratitude laced with caution. "Thank you for saving my son." His handshake was brief, calloused fingers brushing her smooth palm. "Anyone would have done it," he said, but Martinez interjected, opening a file. "Not with your moves. The kidnapper had a knife, yet you took him down without a mark. Care to explain?" Tom's shrug was too casual, his face neutral. "Adrenaline. Watch some martial arts videos online." Claire's eyes caught a flicker, a tug at his sleeve, hiding a tattoo Liam had mentioned, something about soldiers. He knew exactly what to do. Liam piped up, oblivious to the tension. Martinez shifted gears. "Miss Thornton, any enemies who'd target Liam?" "Your company's Sentinel project has competitors nervous." Claire's mind raced rival firms, disgruntled ex-employees, or foreign interests eyeing her AI defense system. "We're unveiling Sentinel in weeks. It's a high-stakes contract. Plenty would benefit from disruption." Tom, silent until now, spoke up. The kidnapper had a Baltic accent, faint but clear, and his knife was military-grade Eastern Bloc surplus. Claire's head snapped toward him. "How do you know that?" she demanded, her instincts screaming he was more than he seemed. "I read a lot between deliveries," Tom said, eyes not quite meeting hers. A micro-lie Claire's negotiation experience caught instantly. Liam tugged Tom's jacket. "Can you come see my robot collection? I've got the new Cybersmith bots." Claire. "Cut in. Protective. Mr. Harper has work, Liam. We're tightening security, no visitors for now." Her tone softened slightly. "My assistant will arrange a reward." Tom shook his head. "Not needed." But Claire insisted, her voice final. "We'll be in touch." As she led Liam out, Tom called after her. "Miss Thornton, this wasn't random. They'll try again." She paused, his certainty chilling her. "And you know this how?" He hesitated. "Just a hunch." Their eyes locked, mutual distrust mingling with an uneasy sense he knew more than he let on. Liam grabbed Tom's discarded quick-slice cap from a chair. "You forgot this." As Tom reached for it, his sleeve shifted, revealing a scarred tattoo, partially obscured, but not military, something official, maybe federal. Claire's pulse quickened. This man wasn't just a hero. He was a puzzle, and she needed to solve him to keep Liam safe. Claire Thornton's sleek home office glowed with the light of 3 monitors, each displaying security feeds and lines of Sentinel's encrypted code, her fingers hovering over the keyboard as an anonymous email flickered on her screen. A warning about a breach in Thornton Dynamics servers, tied to the classified AI project. The words internal threat sent a chill through her, but before she could dig deeper, her security chief Daniels buzzed the intercom. "Miss Thornton, a pizza delivery at the gate." Quick slice, but no order on record. Claire's grip tightened on her pen, suspicion flaring. Liam hadn't mentioned ordering anything, and her account was secure. "Who's the driver?" she asked, voice steady despite her racing pulse. "Tom Harper," Daniels replied, and Claire's eyes darted to the gate's security feed, where Tom stood, pizza box in hand, his delivery scooter parked behind him, posture relaxed, yet somehow vigilant, scanning the darkness. "Let him through, but escort him to the kitchen." "Get Liam down there," she ordered, her mind wrestling with the coincidence. Minutes later, Liam bounded into the kitchen, his face lighting up at the sight of Tom. "You came," he exclaimed, oblivious to the tension, as Claire entered, arms crossed, her CEO poise masking her unease. "Liam, we've discussed unauthorized orders," she said, her tone sharp. Liam's grin faltered. "But Mom, I just wanted to see Tom again. He's awesome." Tom set the pizza down, his eyes meeting Claire's briefly, apologetic, yet guarded. "Sorry about this. I can leave the pizza and go," he offered. But before Claire could respond, A deafening alarm blared through the estate, red lights flashing on the security panel. Daniels rushed in, hand on his holster. "Perimeter breach, east wall," he shouted. Claire grabbed Liam, her heart pounding. "Safe room now," she ordered, but Tom's demeanor shifted instantly, the casual delivery guy gone, replaced by a focused operative. "How many entry points to the house?" he asked Daniels, his voice commanding. "4, plus the patio doors," Daniels replied, registering Tom's sudden authority. Tom's eyes flicked to the security tablet in Daniels' hand. "They're creating a diversion. Liam's the target." Claire froze, her maternal instinct warring with her distrust. "How do you know that?" she demanded, but another alarm sounded. Closer, cutting off debate. "Safe room's in the basement, behind the storage vault, right?" Tom asked, his tone leaving no room for hesitation. Claire nodded, her decision made. Trust him or risk Liam. "Go now," Tom said, turning to Daniels. "I need your spare weapon." To Claire's shock, Daniels handed over a concealed pistol from his ankle without question, and Tom checked it with practiced ease. As they hurried toward the basement stairs, 2 masked figures burst through the patio doors. They're silenced. Weapons glinting, Tom shoved Claire and Liam forward. "Run!" he barked, moving with lethal precision to engage the intruders. Claire glimpsed him disarm one with a swift strike, his movements fluid, almost mechanical, speaking of years of training far beyond the civilians. Gunshots echoed as she hustled Liam down the stairs, his small hand trembling in hers. "Mom, Tom's still up there," Liam cried, eyes wide with fear as they reached the vault-like safe room, disguised behind a false wall in the storage area. Daniels punched in the code, ushering them inside, where monitors displayed chaotic feeds of the estate. Claire clutched Liam, watching Tom neutralize one attacker on the screen, then vanish, hunting the second. "He's like Dad's old army friend," Daniels muttered, staring at the feed. "Special ops, maybe." Claire's phone buzzed and encrypted. Message from an unknown number. "Sentinel breach. 3 days ago. Check your COO's access logs." Her blood ran cold. Richard Hayes, her late husband's best friend, had been with her through every major decision. Could he be involved? A new feed showed a third intruder creeping toward the basement, and Claire's breath caught, her arms tightening around Liam. "There's another one," she whispered, as Daniels positioned himself at the door, weapon drawn. On the monitor, Tom appeared behind the intruder, a silent shadow, subduing him with a precise chokehold that left no doubt about his expertise. Minutes later, his voice crackled through the intercom. "Area secure. 3 down." Daniels opened the safe room door, and Tom stood in the dim basement, a fresh cut bleeding on his arm, his eyes still scanning for threats. Liam broke free, rushing to him despite Claire's protest. "You're hurt," the boy said, hugging Tom tightly. "Just a nick, kid," Tom replied, wincing but managing a faint smile. Claire approached, her voice low. "Who are you, really?" Tom met her gaze, unflinching. "Someone who was there when you needed me." Before she could press further, Daniels called from upstairs. "Police are here, Miss Thornton. You need to see this." In the kitchen, one intruder lay zip-tied, an ID badge beside him. Haystack. Thornton Dynamics rival. Claire's mind reeled. "Richard wouldn't stoop to this," she said, but doubt crept in. Tom pressed a cloth to his wound. "Money makes people desperate." Liam tugged Tom's sleeve. "You're a superhero, right?" Tom knelt, his voice soft. "Just a guy doing what's right, buddy." Claire caught the pain in his eyes, a glimpse of a deeper story, and knew she couldn't let him walk away, not yet. Claire Thornton's sprawling Chicago estate hummed with quiet tension a week after the attack, her home office a fortress of glowing screens as she sifted through private background checks on Tom Harper. Her instincts as Thornton Dynamics CEO screaming he was more than a pizza deliverman. His file showed an honorable Army discharge, odd jobs across states, no criminal record but conspicuous gaps in his timeline and redacted military details hinted at a hidden past. She'd hired Tom as a temporary security consultant, ostensibly to bolster protection, but really to keep him close, to unravel his secrets while Liam grew ever more attached. The boys' laughter echoed from the garden, where Tom, now in dark tactical gear instead of his quick slice uniform, knelt beside Liam, guiding his small hands to adjust a model rocket's fins. "Like this, buddy. Keep it steady," Tom said, his voice patient, a stark contrast to the lethal efficiency Claire had witnessed during the breach. Liam beamed, his loneliness etched deep since his father James's death 2 years ago, easing in Tom's presence. Claire watched from her window, a pang of gratitude mingling with unease. Liam needed male role models, but Tom's enigma made trust a gamble. Later, in her office, Tom knocked, maintaining a respectful distance as he reported, "Perimeter secure. I've tightened 2 weak points in the camera grid." Claire gestured to a chair, studying the fading bruise above. His eyebrow. "Sit." He complied, his posture alert, eyes betraying nothing. "You're not just a delivery guy," she said, not a question. Tom's jaw twitched. "I was delivering pizzas when I saved Liam." "That's true enough." Claire leaned forward. "But before that, Liam's lost his father. He's vulnerable, and you're becoming his hero." Something flickered in Tom's eyes, pain, raw and unguarded. "I get it. I had a son, Noah. He'd be 10 now." The admission hung heavy, and Claire, trained to read boardroom adversaries, let silence draw him out. "What happened?" she asked softly. Tom's fingers traced his wrist, where a scarred tattoo hid beneath his sleeve. Wrong place, wrong time. "My work," it caught up to him. His voice roughened, hinting at law enforcement or intelligence, not army grunt work. Claire's empathy warred with suspicion. Work like what? Federal, maybe? Tom stood abruptly, deflecting. "Does it matter? You hired me to protect, not spill my past." She opened a drawer, sliding a photo across the desk, a grainy image of Tom. Younger, in a suit beside a man she recognized as a Homeland Security official, dated 3 years ago. "You were federal. Why hide it? Why pizzas?" Tom's gaze locked on the photo, his stillness a confession. "Maybe I got tired of losing people." Claire pressed on. "The messages I got during the attack about the Sentinel breach. That was you, wasn't it? How did you know?" Tom sat again, resignation in his shoulders. "I wasn't randomly in your neighborhood that night. I've been tracking threats to tech execs tied to Sentinel. Someone's after it, and they're not stopping at kidnapping." Claire stiffened. Sentinel was classified, known only to her core team and select Pentagon contacts. "You're still working for someone," she accused. Tom shook his head. "Not anymore. I walked away after Noah." His hand drifted to his wrist, a reflex. Claire softened, filling the gap. "After he died." Tom's silence confirmed it. Their conversation broke as Liam burst in, clutching a rocket model. "Tom, look. It's almost done." The boy froze, sensing the tension. "Am I in trouble?" Claire's expression warmed. "No, sweetheart. We're done here." Liam tugged Tom's hand. "Can you help launch?" "Ed, it keeps crashing." Tom glanced at Claire, seeking permission, and she nodded, a reluctant trust forming. "Dinner's at 6. You're welcome to stay," she offered. Tom hesitated, then corrected her. "Call me Tom. If I'm building rockets, we can skip the formalities." A tentative understanding bloomed, not full trust, but a bridge. That evening, Claire paused outside Liam's room, hearing rare male laughter, Tom's low chuckle mingling with Liam's giggles. Peering in, she saw them cross-legged on the floor, tweaking rocket fins, Tom's hands capable of disarming killers, gentle as they guided Liam's. "My dad started teaching me rockets," Liam said quietly. "He worked with planes." Tom nodded. "He'd be proud of you, kid. You're a natural." Liam's voice dropped. "Did you teach your son this stuff?" Claire held her breath, watching Tom's face cycle through grief to resolve. "Yeah, Noah loved building things. Wanted to be a pilot." Liam's curiosity pressed. "What happened to him?" Tom's answer was careful, honest, yet shielded. "Bad people from my old job hurt him. That's why I stopped doing it." Liam's eyes widened. "Were you a spy?" Tom managed a faint smile. "Smart kid. Let's just say I help catch bad guys." Liam leaned closer. "My dad died in a crash." "I think it Was my fault for calling him home early. Tom turned Liam to face him, voice firm. Listen, Liam, accidents aren't kids' faults. Ever. Your dad loved you, and nothing you did caused it. Claire's eyes stung, hearing Tom absolve Liam and maybe himself for Noah. Do you think they're friends? Dad and Noah, up there? Liam asked. Tom's voice caught. Bet they're building the best rockets together. Claire stepped back, her heart shifting. Tom, with his dangerous past, might be what Liam needed, and perhaps her too. But her phone buzzed. A text from Richard Hayes, her cue. Security issues cleared. Sentinel demo tomorrow, as planned. The message felt off, and Claire reopened Tom's file, noting his last federal case probe into tech espionage with foreign ties. Pieces clicked, forming a chilling possibility. Richard, James's best friend, might be the traitor, and Tom's presence was no accident. The conference room at Thornton Dynamics buzzed with anticipation. Government officials and military contractors seated in neat rows, their eyes fixed on Claire Thornton as she stood at the podium, her polished presence masking the unease gnawing at her. The Sentinel project, a revolutionary AI defense system, was moments from its unveiling, but the anonymous warnings about an internal traitor pointing to her coup Hayes kept her on edge. Tom Harper, now introduced as a security consultant, leaned against the back wall, his dark tactical gear blending into the shadows, his sharp eyes scanning the room with an intensity that unnerved her. Their brief glance exchanged a silent agreement. Something was wrong. Claire launched into her presentation, her voice steady despite her racing thoughts. Sentinel represents 5 years of innovation, an adaptive AI that redefines critical infrastructure. Protection. Across the room, Richard Hayes, James's best friend and Liam's godfather, watched her with an unusual focus, his fingers twitching toward his watch. A nervous tick-tong clocked instantly. Claire continued, navigating complex technical slides with ease. The core lies in its predictive algorithms, anticipating threats before they materialize. The lights flickered, and the presentation screen glitched, displaying a corrupted frame. Richard stepped forward smoothly. Just a minor hiccup, Claire. Keep going. But Tom was already moving, slipping toward the control room with a casual stride. That belied his purpose. Claire caught his subtle nod, her instincts flaring as she pressed on. Let's demonstrate Sentinel's response to a simulated cyber attic. Richard interjected again, his tone oddly insistent. Perhaps I should take this part, Claire. It's technically intricate. Her eyes narrowed. Richard never overstepped like this. I've got it, she said firmly, initiating the demo. The screen shifted, not to the planned simulation, but to a cascade of Code Sentinel's core protocols being extracted in real time. Claire's breath caught. What the? Before she could finish, emergency alarms blared, and the room's security doors locked with a heavy thud, trapping everyone inside. Richard pulled a sleek pistol from his jacket, his face cold. Nobody move. This ends in 2 minutes. Gasps rippled through the crowd, officials reaching for disabled weapons as Claire faced Richard, shock morphing into betrayal. You? The kidnapping. The attack at my home, that was you? Richard's smile was icy. You were too stubborn, Claire. Handing over Sentinel's codes would have spared Liam. I've spent years in James's shadow. Then years, watching you profit off his work. My buyers offered millions. Claire's voice shook with fury. James trusted you. You were Liam's godfather. Richard checked his watch, and I kept him safe, didn't I? Just business. The lights cut out, plunging the room into darkness. Then, emergency red lighting flickered on. Tom emerged from the control room, moving silently through the chaos. He'd found a technician in the control room, plugging a rogue USB device into the system, claiming Richard's orders. Tom had disarmed him and secured the device, but not before the extraction began. Richard, distracted by the blackout, didn't see Tom until he was too close. They clashed, Richard's military training meeting Tom's superior skill in a brutal struggle that sent equipment crashing from the demo table. You're too late, Richard hissed, grappling with Tom. The code's already transmitting. Tom held up the USB device, his voice grim. You mean this? Your tech guy folded fast when I mentioned treason. Richard's eyes widened, and in a desperate move, he broke free, grabbing Claire and pressing the gun to her temple. New plan, she's my insurance. Claire's heart pounded, but she kept her voice calm, drawing on the self-defense Tom had taught her. Richard, think. James chose you as family. Richard sneered. James was naive, like you. Tom stepped closer, his voice low, lethal. You know me, Hayes. You knew me 3 years ago in the Orion case. Richard froze, recognition dawning. Harper? John. Harper, the Fed who wouldn't let Orion go. Your kid got caught in the crossfire. Tom's eyes darkened, his calm cracking. Noah, my son. Your foreign partners thought they could silence me by taking him. Claire's mind raced, connecting the dots. Tom's presence, his skills, his grief-driven mission. You've been hunting me since I walked free, Richard realized, his grip on Claire tightening. This isn't revenge, Tom said, edging closer. It's justice. In that moment, Claire saw her chance, driving her elbow into Richard's solar plexus, a move Tom had drilled into her. Richard gasped, his hold loosening, and Claire broke free, diving behind the podium. Tom moved instantly, disarming Richard. With a swift strike, pinning him to the floor as security doors burst open, Daniels leading armed guards. Richard, bloody but defiant, was cuffed and dragged away, shouting about his untouchable buyers. Claire stood, trembling, as Tom handed her the USB drive. Sentinel safe, for now. Her voice was raw. You used us to get to Richard. Tom met her gaze, unflinching. I used his obsession with Sentinel. But when Liam was targeted, it became about protecting him. Claire's anger softened, seeing the weight of Noah's loss in his eyes. Noah's death wasn't your fault, she said quietly. Tom's jaw tightened. Try telling that to his mother, to everyone who said I chose the job over him. He stepped back, his role seemingly done. What now? Claire asked, sensing he was pulling away. Back to my life. Whatever's left of it. Liam's absence in this moment weighed on her. She knew he'd be crushed by Tom's departure. Liam needs you, she said softly. Tom's faint smile was pained. He's got you, that's enough. As he turned to leave, Claire felt a shift, not trust, not yet, but a recognition that Tom's fight had saved them, even if driven by his own ghosts. The room cleared, officials murmuring about the averted disaster, but Claire's focus lingered on Tom's retreating figure, knowing this wasn't the end. 3 weeks after Richard Hayes' arrest, the Chicago autumn turned crisp, leaves skittering. Across the Thornton Estates driveway, where Liam sat on the front steps, his chin propped on his hands, eyes fixed on the gate with stubborn hope. Claire watched her son from the living room window, her heart aching at his vigil for Tom Harper, who'd vanished after delivering evidence against Richard to the FBI. She'd explained to Liam that Tom had finished his work, stopping the bad people who threatened him, but her words couldn't fill the void Tom's absence left in Liam's life. Her phone buzzed with a call from the FBI task force investigating Richard's ties to a foreign intelligence network, the same one linked to the Orion case that had cost Tom his son. Noah, Miss Thornton, we've confirmed Hayes was working with operatives who targeted your Sentinel project, the agent said. Any word from Harper? Claire asked, glancing at Liam's lonely figure. He's gone silent again. Dropped off after giving us what we needed. Claire wasn't surprised Tom had evaded authorities for years while hunting Richard, his grief-fueled. Mission complete, but leaving him unmoored. She ended the call and joined Liam outside, wrapping her cashmere cardigan against the chill. He's not coming back, is he? Liam asked, voice small, eyes still on the gate. Claire slid an arm around him, pulling him close. I don't know, sweetheart. Sometimes, people like Tom need to move on, especially when they care deeply. Liam leaned into her. He didn't even say goodbye. Claire's throat tightened, picturing Tom's haunted eyes when he spoke of Noah. Goodbyes are hard when you've lost someone you love. Liam's voice brightened slightly. Do you think he's delivering pizzas somewhere else? Claire managed a sad smile. Maybe, or figuring out what's next. Helping people seems important to him. They sat in silence, the wind carrying the scent of fallen leaves until Daniels approached from the house. His expression professional but warm. "Miss Thornton, someone's at the gate. Says he has a delivery for Liam, not on the schedule." Claire's pulse quickened, old instincts flaring. "Who?" Daniel's eyes held a spark of approval. "Tom Harper." Liam leapt up, nearly tripping down the steps. "Tom's here. Let him in." Claire nodded to Daniels, her wariness softening. Minutes later, Tom's familiar figure appeared, walking up the driveway. No scooter, number pizza uniform, just jeans and a simple flannel shirt. A small box tucked under his arm. Liam raced to him, colliding in a hug that nearly knocked Tom off. "Balance. You came back. I knew you would." Tom returned the embrace awkwardly, his eyes meeting Claire's over Liam's head, a mix of apology and resolve. "Hey, buddy. Sorry it took a bit." Claire approached, her voice cautious but warm. "This is unexpected." Tom disengaged gently from Liam, holding up the box. "Brought something for you, kid. Your dad started teaching you rockets, right?" Liam tore open the box, revealing an advanced model rocket kit, his eyes wide with delight. "Cool. Can we build it now?" Tom glanced at Claire, seeking permission. "If it's okay with your mom." She nodded, her guard lowering. "Liam's been waiting for you." While Liam spread the rocket parts across the porch steps, Claire and Tom stepped aside. "The FBI's looking for you," she said quietly. Tom's expression was resolute. "They'll keep looking. John Harper's gone died with Noah. I'm just Tom now." Claire studied him, noting the tension in his frame had eased, as if exposing Richard had lifted some weight. "What's next for you?" she asked, the question carrying unspoken hope. "Got an offer with a private security firm. Consulting, no field work." A faint smile touched his lips. "Better tips than pizza." Claire laughed, a rare lightness breaking through. "Will you stay in Chicago?" Tom's eyes held hers, vulnerable yet steady. "Depends. There's a kid here who needs rocket building help, and I owe someone a few self-defense lessons." Claire felt a warmth she hadn't known since James's death. Not love, but the promise of trust rebuilt. "We can arrange that," she said softly. Liam's voice interrupted, calling from the porch. "Tom, come see. This one's got a motor." Tom glanced at Claire, his look seeking more than permission for rockets, a place in their lives. She nodded, a quiet invitation. "We're having pasta tonight. Stay." Tom joined Liam on the steps, their heads bent over the rocket parts. Liam's chatter filling the air with joy. Claire watched, her heart swelling at her son's happiness and Tom's patient focus, his hands steady as they guided Liam's. Later, at dinner, Liam recounted the rocket's features, Tom listening with genuine interest, occasionally glancing at Claire with a shared understanding. She saw the man beneath the scars, not a hero in disguise, but a father seeking redemption through protecting another's child. After dinner, as Liam showed Tom his robot collection, Claire paused in the doorway, struck by their ease together. Tom's story of loss mirrored her own, yet his choice to return, to build something new with Liam, spoke of hope. Her phone buzzed, a routine security update, but her focus remained on the scene before her. Two broken hearts mending through model rockets and quiet trust. Tom caught her eye, offering a small nod, and Claire returned it, sensing a future unfolding, uncertain but bright. Sometimes, she thought, saving others heals us, and for today, that was enough.